Hi everyone, and welcome back to the new Breakpoint. After a couple of weeks off, it's really great to be back on your screens. We've got a really interesting topic this week, so make sure you hang about for that. As always, if you'd like to join in, you can follow us on YouTube. You're probably watching us there already, or you might be watching us on Twitter. Either of those channels, if you post your comments or questions during today's live stream, either myself or my guests for today will be able to answer them. As always, when you're contributing or collaborating with us on our channels, make sure you do it in the right spirit and with the right approach. And to that end, please make sure that you take a look at our code of conduct before you join in. So who do we have today? This is an interesting topic. I worked with somebody once who said to me that programming without planning is the art of adding bugs to an empty text file. And really, if you think about building at cloud scale, the same applies. So how do we get started and make sure we're doing the right thing? And then how do we make sure that we continue to do the right thing? Well, to that end, Microsoft has developed the Cloud Adoption Framework, or the CAF, and a well-architected framework, or WAF, which can help you both migrating to the cloud and then building and maintaining state on the cloud. My guests today, Rupal and Ronel, are senior program managers on our FastTrack team here in Australia. And they're going to lead us through what CAF and WAF are and what they mean for developers. So let me get the two of them on, and then we'll be interested to see what they've got to tell us. All right. Hey, Rupal.
Hi. Hi, Simon.
Hi, and let me add Ronel. Hi, Ronel. Good morning.
Hi, Simon.
Welcome to the show. So what's FastTrack? What does FastTrack do for Microsoft? And they're not just here in Australia, they're global, but what do they do here in Australia?
Yeah, so overall, I think we are part of Azure Engineering, and we are a technical enablement program to help you deploy solutions to Azure with confidence. So we, along with our awesome engineers, we actually offer tailored guidance for your solutions and your customer context, and make sure that you confidently deploy to Azure. So that's what we do. Just customer success, customer success.
Okay, great. And maybe I'm going to hop off the stream at this point, and I'll put your presentation up on screen, Rupal, so you can start when you're ready. But give you a little bit of time just to introduce both of yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll get into it, okay?
Yep.
So let's just add that to the stream here. All right, so I will see you later. Over to the two of you, and good luck.
Thanks, Simon. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be presenting here with Ronel Vosloo. I'll start with my introductions. I'm Rupal Mudholkar, an IT native and a modern-day nomad. Started off as a C developer in the Y2K era, and I've worked in most of the roles across a delivery lifecycle before moving to a technology lead evangelist kind of a role. I started out as a software engineer and crossed over. So happy to pass it over to Ronel for her introductions.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ronel Vosloo. I'm a program manager like Rupal in the FastTrack for Azure team. I started out as a hardware engineer many years ago for Compaq, and worked my way through things and saw the need for better processes in the work that we do. So I transitioned over into service management and worked with ITIL and MOF, and started or joined the FastTrack for Azure team just over 3 years ago.
Awesome. So I think just without further ado, let's get into the crux of the things. So just as we execute multiple projects for customers, so as we executed some of our more complex projects, we realized that a big part of the challenge is the people and the process, and not necessarily always the technology. The lack of clear requirements, strategy, stakeholder buy-in, roles and responsibilities, expectation management plays a big part in achieving a successful Azure implementation. It is important for developers to understand the people on the process side, so that it can help you articulate, the right questions to ask the stakeholders before you plunge deep into the solution development. Microsoft has introduced Cloud Adoption Framework, which covers the people and process side very well. And it's supported by the well-architected framework, which addresses the technology and gives you best practices on making new or existing workloads on cloud secure, cost-optimized, resilient, performant, and operational. Our aim today would be simplifying how CAF and WAF come together for developers and hoping that understanding the process can make your dev journey much easier. We'll leave you with some learning resources for your future reference to deep dive into. And so over to Ronel to kick us off with CAF and how it is relevant for you and your project. Over to you, Ronel.
Thanks for that, Rupal. So the Cloud Adoption Framework is a great modular framework that can help us through different phases. But first, we need to understand really why we want to have that guidance. And hopefully, I'm speaking to the converted, but we have a need for cloud transformation. And the reason why cloud transformation is happening is really because our businesses are evolving. The digital transformation does embrace the necessity for that change. And when we talk about change, it's optimization in how we do things. It's also identifying and implementing efficiencies. So there's no real magic switch that we can flip to make efficiencies happen. So we need to go through that process of change and really understand the foundations and how our business work to identify which change can actually give us the biggest bang for our buck. So many of you already know that if you don't digitally transform, you do get left behind and the business may not survive. We've seen large organizations, because Forrester published some papers, we've seen large organizations that have tried digital transformations and they dismally failed and they went back and tried again in different ways. So we need to find a way for us to really implement or tackle our digital transformation in a way that works for us as an organization. So if we look at the Cloud Adoption Framework and how that can help us, because the Cloud Adoption Framework give us really the modular phases for our adoption. So each of those modules in the diagram that you can see on the screen is an iterative phase that advances your business through the complete life cycle of cloud adoption. And the nice thing about this is you really can take the guidance from the Cloud Adoption Framework from really where you are as an organization. So if you're a very mature organization and you don't need certain parts of it, that's fine too. So customers can choose those phases that's best suited for your cloud adoption maturity. And that provide the guided methodology to cloud adoption with very specific approaches to overcome some of our common blockers. Because the Cloud Adoption Framework's put together by customers, partners, internal Microsoft people. So we've listened to all of them and put this together. And it offers the enterprise and modular framework on how to incrementally onboard to the cloud. So it shifts how companies obtain, make use, and lock down their technology resources. And it also flips the model of how enterprises operate. So transition, the way we look at transitioning for organizations and how they consume technology resources. So that's quite different. You move away from running around with screwdrivers where hardware and the life cycle of your hardware is becoming the issue. You want to move away from that. And there's a lot of guidance in there. You want to change from, capital expenditure to operational expenditure. And the cloud model assumes security, governance, cost optimization, and hybrid cloud by default. And it also develops a future-ready workforce. So you deploy cloud skills and cloud readiness in the organization. So one of the things that we see here is, in the business side of things, it's all about defining your strategy, really understanding your motivations, and provide that business justification. Because when we go through that business justification and we articulate that in a good way, we can build we can build some urgency and also excitement for our cloud adoption program that we're going to go through. We then also prioritize our projects. We plan, we assess our digital estate. We want to do initial organizational alignment, see where it fits best, and then see how we're going to adapt our organization with regards to the skills that we have in place today, and build that cloud adoption plan, but keeping the people and the processes also in mind. When we move over to the platform side, we look at the ready phase of this, and really looking at that, we want to ensure that we have the readiness guidance in there, and building our first landing zone. And the landing zone is the term that we use for the things that you need to have in place to start deploying your workloads to. And that landing zone are things like the networking, all the governance, all the things that you need to really look after it from a secure perspective as well. And then we want to expand the blueprint and do some best practice validation. But in all of that, we want to make sure that we keep the governance things that we need to keep in mind, and build that governance maturity in our organization. And then we take it to a workload area. And in that workload area, there's a few different ways how we adopt the cloud. So whether it is a workload migration that we want to do and expand into the different scenarios, for that migration, we need to understand what's the best practice validation, and also what processes do we need to improve or change to make use of this when we migrate into the cloud. But it's also great for innovation. So there's innovation guidance there. There's some scenarios in the cloud adoption framework that we can use to see if that fits with the scenarios that we have. And again, there's best practice validation and process improvement as part of that. And during that, we also move into the operations maturity. How do we manage this? What is the business buy-in and the business commitments to this? And what's our operational baseline? And something that underpins the workloads, how we adopt it, how we manage it, is that well-architected framework. Because the well-architected framework does a really good job at decomposing the workload considerations into a set of common architectural principles: cost optimization, operational excellence, performance, efficiency, reliability, security. So the guidance is there to really become a cost-conscious organization when it comes to the way how we design our workloads and things. So the cloud adoption framework and the well-architected framework really provide us with different tools and templates to help us on our cloud journey. So when we look at that, from an activity perspective, we want to do workshops in that people and process side of things. We want to do workshops. We want to build a strategy. We want to see how we're going to assess our environment. And in that, designing the strategy and the plan, in that people and process stuff, there's a lot of assistance in the frameworks that can help us with that. There's the cloud journey tracker. There's the strategic migration assessment. So if we look at all those assessments that's available within the frameworks, then it can help us to put a plan together for our journey. When we look at the technology side of things, how we're going to get ready and govern this, again, there's benchmark tools, there's landing zone templates, there's a Azure well-architected review from a tools perspective, and then there's also migration and innovation guidance as part of that. But we don't have to do that alone. In Microsoft, you may have account teams that can assist you with it. There's teams like the FastTrack team that can assist you with your projects, but there's also a great partner ecosystem there that can help, and partners may have offers to help with putting these things together. And, one of the things that we see, or some of the things that we see as part of this adoption journey, then is building that cloud adoption plan with the guidance that's provided in the different frameworks, building a landing zone that's expandable, that can cater for the various workloads and the way that you want to operate the cloud, and then put the governance around everything that you do. And the one thing that we do not want to forget about is the people side of things. I would like to think that cloud adoption is more than just the technology. Coming from my service management background, we've talked to customers many times about the different roles and responsibilities that they need in their teams. But it's not about throwing out the old and just bring in new. We have a look at some of those commoditized skills that we have in our environments today. You know, solutions manager, your UX designers, your testers, developers. Those skills are very relevant. We may call them something different, but those skills are very relevant. So what we say in the cloud adoption framework, and in life in general, is don't go and re-architect everything. Find out what you have in your teams. Have a look at Microsoft Learn. There's great resources available to make the jump into some of the cloud skills that may be required. So you have to talk about how your roles are evolving, and in those roles, there's lots of ways to extend the skills that you have today, and make sure that you extend that into the cloud by using so many free resources, by using those resources to identify the gaps, look across your teams, and then create an organizational wide learning plan. And if it's a smaller first step into the cloud, have a look at how you can, from a team perspective, do that, and make sure that the teams themselves expand their knowledge into some of those, data scientists, the cloud architect, information architect, all that information that's available there to expand your knowledge and your skills into the cloud world. But I'll hand you over to Rupal to talk about the well-architected framework.
Thanks a lot, Ronel. Thanks for setting the foundation for the cloud adoption framework, and how well-architected fits into that entire thing. As I see it, it fits into adopt and also the manage part of it. So you can use it in both the areas. It enables you where WAF comes in. Or I'm going to keep saying WAF now, which is well-architected framework. So where WAF comes in, it enables you to achieving your business objectives, operationalizing how to design, build, and optimize cloud solutions. So the overall Microsoft well-architected framework, with its 5 pillars at the center, is the center of this priority, if you see that. And it helps you assess your workload architectural design, but it is also overall supported by multiple other things. So it's got the well-architected review, which helps you with a set of questions, which will help you cover all the 5 pillars. So depending on the need of the hour, you can choose any one of the pillars to overall review your current architectures. It gives you reference architectures and design principles, which help you with technology guidance, and documentation on CAF and Azure Architecture Center, which helps you with different documentation you need to refer to. This is also supported by the Azure Advisor, which is already present, and the Advisor's Core, which helps you identify where to prioritize, where to focus on, which pillar to focus on, and then it gives you the right place with the Advisor's Core as to where you need to optimize your current workloads, or the future iterative workloads which you want to put on the cloud. So that gives you a basic understanding of how the well-architected framework fits in. Now that you have a foundational idea of this, let's move on to something more detailed as to what the well-architecture framework actually is. it's giving the guidance for architects, developers, and app owners. So as app owners, we know that it's very difficult as the solution ages and enhancements are put in to maintain that solution. So this well-architected framework gives them a guidance on how to keep on top of the of their solutions to make sure that they are supportable, and also they are not an hindrance to the regular rollouts which you have to meet the market demands. So if you the 5 pillars are cost optimization, operational excellence, performance efficiency, reliability, and security. So cost optimization is where you can design pay-as-you-go, cost-effective workloads aligned with business objectives or ROI while maintaining a budget. Secondly, operational excellence helps design reliable, predictable monitoring, performance management, and extensive automated and manual testing from an infrastructure and a design perspective. Then our third one, performance efficiency, is to lower your maintenance costs, improve your user experience, and increase agility by architecting solutions with scalability baked in. The best part at this point, you can also think of moving to PaaS by default, which already has this baked in, the scale in, scale out kind of paradigms, and to use built-in scaled functionality. And in the fourth, which is the reliability, it helps you think about whether you want to scale out instead of scaling up and buying and getting into expensive hardware. Build reliability across deployments with resilient HA architectures and failure mode analysis. And last but not the least is the security by design to provide confidentiality, integrity, and availability assurances, and ward off the deliberate attacks and abuse of your valuable data and systems. So now you have some idea about the foundational principles. We will talk through some of the best practices that drive workload quality. So as we noted, these pillars are aligned and connected. So business requirements are the ones which will drive your architecture decisions. So there will be architecture decisions which you'll have to do and trade off between the pillars. So I can give you a few examples here to get that thought through. So example, optimizing the costs in dev workloads may be the right approach, even when it may impact reliability if it's in line with the business expectations. Improving performance for a mission critical workload may be the right thing to do for your business, even at the expense of the increased costs. Or if you since you're seeing a surge in cyber attacks which drive workload security investments as organizations attempt to protect their most valuable asset data, we might increase the cost so that all your workloads are secure. So there is going to be a trade-off at each point of time, which will influence your decisions and weigh in the different pillars as needed. So how there are now come what are the different quality inhibitors which are there? Here is a sample list for all the areas, but it could be for reliability. If you evaluate your current environment in the review, it comes up that you do not have any support for disaster recovery. What happens to your application if a region goes down? It's a shared responsibility model, so we need to definitely deliberately think about it. The second, if you find out from the review that there is no visibility on root cause for events, that gives you a impetus to look at it and define monitoring requirements. If you go to the reliability, to the performance efficiency pillar, you realize that your website is getting popular, but there is no design for scaling. Then you prioritize the performance efficiency over there. Then you look at security. There's no security threat detection mechanism. Now that your website is getting popular, you need to make sure that you are, with the public endpoint, you are well protected against and alerted at the right time before an attack happens. And also cost optimization, which is on top of mind for most of the business, is when you have some unclear or underused or orphaned resources which are just lying around and sucking in the cost. Those are the few things which you can look at, which are quality innovators for a particular workload. So what CAF provides is best practices to drive workload quality overall. You might have migrated with lift and shift due to a compelling DC exit event, and now wish to cost optimize your environment. So you can use reserved instances, shut down dev environments when they are not used, or more efficiently move to PaaS, which really cost optimizes your environment. Though it's a little bit of a long drawn process with refactor and re-architect. Looking at operational excellence, DevOps processes can help you with automated and consistent environment setup and deployments, along with timely alerts to avoid any issues. And it also helps you respond to market conditions in a timely way and shortens the delivery and the feedback cycles. For performance, it is built for scalability and feedback. You can design for automated scale up by monitoring for spikes. So, and for reliability, we want to make sure that the apps adhere to their SLAs, and we are able to monitor for health using alerts and have the HADR set up as per the app tiering. And for the security part of it, do we know who is logging in, who has access into the assets? Are we using just-in-time conditional access reviews? Do we have any guardrails around where data can reside, especially in the government space? Geolocation, data centers become very important, and SecOps and monitoring to monitor potential threats. This is a very broad overview on well-architected. We do need to build this as an ongoing process where we can regularly evaluate the quality of the workloads already running in Azure and use it also to create new workloads and start that thinking process right at inception. So how can you get started? For designing and deploy workloads, you align the architectures to business priorities, use your trade-offs, review it against the well-architected framework to get the clear requirements from the business, and totally leverage the well-architected review for the requirements, consider the trade-offs, and build and manage the workloads. So that's how we would do for the new workloads. And for existing workloads which are already on Azure, we should do these things periodically. So decide on a cadence for which you want to review your framework and leverage the Azure Advisor Score, understand the changes needed or incidents which have occurred, and then you start reviewing on your well-architected framework depending on the Advisor Score where you need to concentrate on. And then the process continues where you have to take architectural decisions and decide on your trade-offs, and you implement the recommendation and go on iteratively into a cadence for workload optimization. So that's how you get started. Now I'll leave you with some more resources which can help you get onto that journey and if you want to learn more. So we find a FTA live session. So our FastTrack for Azure Live are virtual sessions, and they are conducted by our awesome engineers and program managers. We cover a wide range of topics, monitoring, cloud architecture, security, infrastructure as code, and that steps you through how to do it. So it gives you that idea as to how do you start on your well-architected journey. So feel free to leverage it. You can go on to aka.ms/FTA live and register for any session. We run them regularly every month. So feel free to register for the sessions which interest you. Find a Microsoft partner. So, connect with a trusted partner who can help you with this particular journey. And there are a few more resources which I'll leave you with, where you have links to Azure well-architected review, well-architected learning path, review the documentation of the path, and these particular links would also be in the show notes. So feel free to leverage them and post any questions on this chat. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Fantastic stuff. Look, I can understand for some people it seems like a very dry topic, but it's actually a really important one. A common challenge we see with cloud adoption generally is people not knowing where to start, and then either being surprised by what happens once they start working with the cloud, or maybe not building something as optimized as it could be. And I think both the CAF and the WAF, give us that capability, both when we're moving to the cloud and when we're already there and we're maybe trying to build cloud native. I wanted to thank both of you for joining us today. What I'm just going to quickly do is I'm just going to throw up the episode debug log. So Rupal and Ronel, thank you very much for joining us. I think, getting connected with the FastTrack team is definitely a way to go. As Rupal just shared in her slides there is a way to connect locally with the team. I wanted to say thank you very much for you to join. You want to give everyone a wave out there in viewer land. We do this for everybody, and then you'll end up on one of our promo reels at some point. Our next episode will be next Thursday on the 22nd of April. Looking forward to that episode. We're super lucky. We're going to have one of the Azure SQL database program management team joining us with a couple of our local cloud solution architects to talk about how you can build highly resilient and available applications in Azure that are backed by Azure SQL database, which is a really cool topic, particularly if you are moving from a traditional SQL Server on-premises style way of working. And we've announced Microsoft Build. So can't go and register for it just yet, and we haven't updated the Build website, but the dates are out. So the Build event itself will run from the 25th to the 27th of May 2021, so that's just over a month away from now. We are looking to do a show for New Breakpoint for Build, so stay tuned for further details for that. But without further ado, I'm going to wrap up today's session and say thanks a lot to Ronel and Rupal for joining us. So see you later, folks. And let's just convince my tooling here to do the right thing. Bye, Ronel. All right. Okay. So thanks a lot, folks, and we will see you all again next week.